We're live. Hopefully, everybody ain't watching the basketball. Well, you know what? I could be watching. Oh, ouch. I could be watching the basketball game too, couldn't I? Mad that I'm missing it. Mad that I'm missing it. Ain't that a yay? Okay. These Diesel in the building. I'm shocked you're not watching the game. Come on, your kid. That's okay. I see y'all in the BII. Check it in, go Heat. Okay, Mario, at least he honest. I'm watching the game. I ain't tripping on what y'all talking about in nerd world. Theo, my brother from another, what's popping, sir? I thought for sure you be watching the game. Oh, you probably dividing your attention. All of y'all probably dividing y'all attention if y'all hoop fans. Anywho, though. We got the Panther mug, and we're mugging, and you can see the Panther, so that means it's something hot in it. All right, that's what? Eight? Yeah, y'all got in here fast. All right, okay. Let's get into it. Let's gotta stretch out. Doing housework. All right, I see it. Go ahead. Well, not the housework. I see the fact that you are doing housework and respect it. No, I ain't got no surveillance on you. Hey, Miss Alicia, how you doing? Good. There's a woman in here. Stay in here because I'm gonna be talking about some stuff that only women can speak on. Mr. YouTube 92, what's happening? What's going on? What's popping? Y'all go ahead and like, because if you hear, you ain't here because you hate it, right? Oh, but then you could be waiting to jump on me. Let's see if I can give you something to jump on me about. Okay. I am assuming we all nerds or nerd adjacent in the room, so we are all aware that the sneak previews, the advanced screenings for the rest of us for Across the Spiderverse started today. And here you go. He said he just saw Across the Spiderverse. All right. Christopher Bates, did you see my video I made last night in regard to Across the Spiderverse? Multi-dimensional stuff. So it seems like this is the motif that we're gonna continue to rock with in movies. That's cool. And the Spider-Verse stuff is not terrible. The first one was not terrible. It was a good movie. It was better than not terrible. It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed an animated feature like that in a while. Christopher Bates, I read that the movie has a running time of 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's the longest damn cartoon ever. I'm assuming it doesn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Because you was like, I just saw Spider-Verse with an exclamation point. So is it good, bad, yay, nay? That'll kind of help where I'm going with the conversation on this one. And a part 2. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and assume that based on the one individual who has seen this movie is it, yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yes, these days it was 2 DC animated movies. They doubling down. And that brings up an interesting point, these days. Is that movie that long because the breadth of that story needs to be told in such a way, or could they have condensed it down to a tolerable amount of time and nobody would have tripped? Because the last movie I think was like an hour and 45 minutes, something like that, which is still pretty damn long for an animated feature. You know what I'm saying? Animated features run anywhere between like an hour and 10 to like maybe an hour, maybe hour 20 minutes, hour 15 minutes. But when you be on the half hour mark with a animated feature, because Heavy Metal was like an hour and a half back in the day, and it had like five or six separate vignettes. So they managed to tell an effective story in that amount of time. That's why I'm asking. Chris say it got a cliffhanger ending, so there's going to be a third Spider-Verse movie. He said it goes to 2 hours and 20 minutes, goes by pretty quick. I could believe that because the last movie I saw that was like 2.5 hours didn't feel like 2.5 hours. But you know what? I've been watching old movies lately that are like an hour and 45 minutes, and the story's still getting told, and it's not an inordinate amount of time. So why have we started making every movie into an epic? Just about. I mean, because if we going past the 2 hour and 15 minute mark, that is i.e. a long ass movie. But if it's entertaining, I guess it doesn't matter that it's that long. Damn that you got stuff to do. But if you know how long the movie is, you plan and make reservations for that. Okay. According to the writers, they wrote so much story they decided to break it into 2 big films. Speaking of breaking it down, does anybody remember the 2-part Spider-Man episode back in the 90s where I call it Across the Spider-Verse Light? Because essentially you had a evil Peter Parker. Essentially you had a bunch of Spider-Mans from different universes teaming up to thwart an overreaching menace. I think I read somewhere that the writers and producers of um Across the Spider-Verse acted out the storyline with sock puppets. Yes, Chris, the 90s cartoon. Yes, there was no such thing as Miles Morales back then. We didn't get a Miles Morales till what, 2000, 2001, 2000, early 2000s. So there was no such thing as a Miles Morales when we had our first Spider-Verse adventure. So that's why the presence of Miles Morales is non existent. Matter of fact, there wasn't even a 1610 universe yet. I don't think that didn't come along until like the late 90s, early 2000s. So 2011? Okay. Um my point. To my point. So if you hadn't seen it, I mean, there's one Spider-Man that I don't know if y'all ever saw this issue of Web of Spider-Man, where 2011, I stand corrected. Where Spider-Man made this special extra hard compound of webbing, and he made it into like a gray armor. So that's one of the Spider-Man, so, an armored Spider-Man. Then there's another Spider-Man who uses Doc Ock's tentacles, and I don't think he has any powers. So everything he does is basically he's Batman in Spider-Man gear. Then of course there's Ben Reilly. There's the Scarlet Spider. He's got complete with the the sleeveless hoodie and all red suit. And then there are a couple of other Spider-Mans. There's our mainstream Spider-Man who's running the team, and so and the Beyonder who's like coaching him. Louis Berry. Have I seen Across the Spider-Verse? No, I have not seen Across the Spider-Verse yet, but I have plans to. Not because I have plans to, but I have plans to, if that makes sense to you. Was that the episode with the armored Spider-Man? Yes, Christopher, that is the episode with the armored Spider-Man. All of them, well, the armored Spider-Man is in this episode because there was an episode separate from that one where he like met all of these different Spider-Men separately, but they're all crammed together in this two-parter because of Spider Carnage, I guess is the best way to describe him. And he's rocking the second Ben Reilly outfit, the one with the web shooters on the outside and the big spider emblem. So yeah, that one was cool. Hope to get Hardy's Venom, Defoe's Goblin, and PS4 Miles in Across the Spider-Verse. Okay. No spoilers. Nobody's here seen it yet except for Christopher Bates. But yeah, we're gonna just keep it, speculative and like kind of like what Louis Berry does, what we'd like to see. The cyborg Spider-Man, the Spider-Woman, women, and Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara as the Heavy. Spider-Man 2099 deserves his own movie, in my opinion. That's just me. He deserves his own movie. That whole universe deserves to be explored. And that's a whole nother cinematic venue they could take that would probably be respectable if they don't bastardize it and actually go and talk to some comic book writers about it. I imagine that Spider-Man 2099 did steal the show because Spider-Man 2099 is a dope Spider-Man. Bomb. Yeah, I don't like these action figures particularly because the serious lack of articulation and the fanciful looking dimensions that they have. I guess okay, we're trying to make it look like the animated movie version, but yeah, not feeling that. Anyways, though, but yeah, I am feeling the movie. Yeah, I agree, D. Diesel. Animated adaptations, and even when animated adaptations go off the rails, it's in a respectable within canon way. We don't end up with this all the way out in left field thing where it's like, okay, he doesn't even live there, and that person is no longer even alive in his life, or that person is alive in their life and we're killing them off. We have to do this dynamic thing. Like, take for instance, and I'm getting a little off track, but I did say we would be talking about all things multiversal. So Haha. I like when I have a catch-all. Anyway, Flashpoint. Okay. The comic is different from the animated movie. And the Flash, which obviously, if you ever read any of the comic books or saw that cartoon, you know it's based heavily on Flashpoint. So it seems like from each medium, it degrades in higher degrees, if that makes sense. Yeah, like what these things are saying, live action only captures an infinitesimal microcosm of what that IP should actually be based on its original state, based on canon, based on its core state. So, Flashpoint, the animated movie, while it took huge liberties opposed to the comic book, it did it in a way that was in canon, acceptable. Diabolical nerd in the building. What's going on, bruh? What's going on? But why we don't do that? No, in Marvel, I don't understand why they don't understand how that's a very simple thing to do. You got movies, you got books sitting right there saying, "Hey, use this," and you gonna go, "Nah, I ain't gonna use none of that. I'm gonna erase all that off the board, and I'm just gonna start from scratch. Hope you like it. It's the movie we wanted to make." I hate hearing that so much. It's like that's lazy, and you don't ever need to do another interview again in life, Nate Moore. Byron, my man, what's up? What's up? Superstar, actor guy, superstar. They say honestly, it will always be that way unless you're a comic book writer making the film. Books always come across differently. Then my solution, Byron, is make original characters. Then you can do whatever the hell you want to do. I mean, technically it's your IP, but you aren't screwing over decades and decades and decades and decades of rich storytelling simply because you want to have an original idea or thought process. Just make a whole other thing. Just make Whammy the Magnificent and Captain Dusseldorf and you know what I'm saying, and Iron Monkey, and put all of them together in a movie and make them a superhero team, and you can do whatever you want to do. You can kill Iron Monkey if you want to, because nobody cares unless you make 3 or 4 movies and get people attached to Iron Monkey. Then when Iron Monkey dies, folks are like, "Hey, my God, Iron Monkey's dead." You know, so it works like that. Hey, Grand Madam, I need you to be in here for later on for another topic we're going to speak on. I'm gonna need you and Miss Alicia to speak candidly. Anyway, Stan Lee said it best. I'm paraphrasing. Different interpretations are good as long as creators maintain the essence of who these characters are. D. Steezel. Does Disney and Marvel Studios maintain the essence of what those characters are? Hence the problem. You know, and you could go all the way back to Iron Man in 2008. Yes, Grand Madam, I am sure I can take it. The question is, can everybody else? Anyway, that was real ominous. Never mind. Coming up in a later topic. But there's no reason to deviate. Honestly, I mean, because it's impossible to 100% capture the essence of what a character is. Unless you're the people who made the 1978 Superman movie. So it can be done. It can be done. But like I was saying with the 2008 with Iron Man, people were blown away by that movie. They were 100% blown away by it. Tony Stark. Oh my God. I mean, the different was fine because it wasn't a drastic change. It was an update. Okay. It wouldn't have made no sense for Tony Stark to be running around in the jungles of Vietnam and step on a mine. Ain't nothing like that going on in Vietnam right now. Or wasn't anything like that going on in Vietnam in 2008. And so you update it and you make it the Middle East. Boom. Perfect. We're loving that. Okay. And then you got a story with, okay, I'm trying to take the company. Obadiah Stane. That's exactly what he did in the comics. He took the company from Tony Stark. And Tony Stark went crawling away with his tail between his legs. But like he always does, oh, I'm going to make a new set of armor, come back and kick your ass. And that's basically what he did. Well, he didn't make a new set of armor. He just kind of did what he had to do with the arc reactor thing. But yeah, we find that in that movie, Tony Stark learned from his mistakes, and that will be an ongoing theme in all the Iron Man movies. I listed all the topics at the top of the chat, Assure. We are in the middle of the first one. Bottom line, multiversal gives you a lot more latitude to do things, but just like Dee Steezel said, I need to see and feel the essence of that character within whatever it is you're doing. Because when you take the Avengers and bastardize them and add Hawkeye and Black Widow and say, this is the core of this world. But for the longest time, people who ain't in the know of the multiversal was like, that ain't the Avengers. But since they didn't let anybody know from the rip, oh, this is getting ready to be multiversal. And unless you was a really deep thinker, you wouldn't have went, oh, that's not the 616 Avengers. Phase 1 is still everybody's favorite, D. It maintained the essence of what those characters were. They might have went off the rails in a couple areas, you know what I'm saying, and say, oh, I'm going to compensate for this with comedy. I'm going to compensate for this with comedy. That's an option that Marvel uses all the time. If I can't make this make sense, if I can't stick to canon, I'm going to throw humor in it. And people won't notice. Yeah, the casuals won't notice. People who don't read comic books won't notice. And that largely is why the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie was widely accepted. You didn't know what was going on with the Guardians of the Galaxy. They had literally just came out like what, a couple years after that, before that movie. That version of the Guardians of the Galaxy had come out like just a couple years before they dropped the movie. So it's like, don't nobody really know who this Guardians of the Galaxy is unless you read the comic. Paul Martin. Wow, just started watching Succession season 1. That's random as hell. Anyway. Okay, I'm happy for you. If y'all in here, hit the like, like this if this conversation is engaging you and making you say and do things. Good things, interesting things, meaningful things. Mario said Iron Man 1 was underrated. Yeah, it actually was. If I challenge you to find a Marvel movie that sticks closer to canon than Iron Man, the first one. Is there one? Is there such an animal? When they found out that they could go off the reservation, it's exactly what they did. We off the reservation. We gone. We ain't trying to stick to canon. And you didn't notice it because you was enamored of all the ooh, ah, and the CG going on. But when you actually had time to sit down and go, hey, because I do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes you a couple of times to actually internalize something. The first time, or at least with movies, you internalize it visually. Second time, you internalize what's being said. Third time, you put those together and go, Okay, I think I seen the first Avengers movie like maybe five. I think 5 times. 5 times in the theater. I got a very intimate understanding of what that movie was. And what it was it took the elements of the Avengers and pieces and parts and said, I'm going to put them in here the way I see fit to put them in here, as if telling the story of Avengers #1 and adding Shield and Nick Fury wouldn't have been a good movie. If the first Avengers movie would have centered around stopping the Hulk on a rampage and Loki being the grand manipulator versus someone else manipulating Loki from the background, and a Hank and Janet Pym, would that have been a better movie? Let me see what y'all talking about in chat. They used the Ultimates lineup, but even that lineup had Hank and Janet. Diabolical Nerd, I feel MCU will and have used multiverse as a way to escape having to do good writing. Singer's X-Men prime example of poor writing that leads to nowhere. Definitely one of the best origin films. Diabolical Nerd said that. I knew what you meant. These Diesel, the humor in Iron Man 1 wasn't over the top either. It was just right. Yes, not telling a joke every 5 minutes. If we can accept that some of the comics canon isn't good, as you say Ridley's Black Panther run is, then maybe deviation can sometimes be good. I agree with that, Paul, and I disagree with that. I would not take a run of a comic book largely lauded as terrible and make a movie out of it. Okay? Your Secret Wars, your Crisis on Infinite Earths, your Dark Knight Returns, your Frank Miller run on Daredevil. That's what you want to see on the screen, not John Ridley effing up the Black Panther or Eve Ewing's run on Ironheart. That's not what I want to see on screen. You see what I'm saying? Good stories, not shitty stories. I wouldn't put a crappy story on the screen. Why would I? As much as I love Blade, Gene Colan's run on Tomb of Dracula was boring. Okay, I don't want to see that in a movie, and I think that's what Guillermo del Toro figured out, that this shit's boring. I'm gonna have to pump something into it to make it good. Now, in that case, if the story sucks and you take it and make it into something that works, but when have we seen that outside of Blade? Outside of Blade, what movie franchise about a superhero went off the rails and was a smash ass hit? If you can name one or two, that's probably going to be all you're going to be able to name. You ain't going to be able to rip off no list of stuff. Oh my God, surprise. And Guardians of the Galaxy don't count because that was already out. I'm one of the few people that found Miller's Civil War offensive to continuity. I thought the MCU version improved on the story. Improved on the story. It took elements of the story and made an entirely new story. It didn't stick to the story. Cause we didn't hear nothing about no new Warriors. We didn't hear nothing about Stanford. We didn't hear nothing about Nitro. We didn't hear nothing like that. It was the events of Sokovia. I get trying to make something linear and make it make. That's when I started to understand. Well, no, I take that back. Age of Ultron. That's when I started to understand this is not the 616 universe. This is not hardly the 616 universe, because is it just me or do we think that the Avengers they had at the beginning of Civil War was a cinematic attempt to create that universe's version of Cap's kooky quartet? Or was that just me? Did I say who? Because what was we looking at? We had Cap, we had Falcon, kind of taking up the role of Hawkeye. We had Scarlet Witch, we had Black Widow, and Vision, who wasn't around. So a very underpowered group of Avengers calling themselves the Avengers. Is it just me, or am I reaching? Am I reaching, or does that make sense? And the presence of Nick Fury wasn't not wanted in that series, but at the same time, yeah, the quartet is accurate. Street level heroes. Yeah. They didn't really need Wanda on the mission in Lagos in Civil War. Well, I mean, if we talk about who they did and didn't need, that mission would have been a snap if they'd have brought Vision along. Why didn't they bring Vision along? How come Vision didn't come? Vision can become intangible. He could have went up in there, got that thing. Crossbone, ain't nothing Crossbones could have did to him. They could have just been like, Vision, go up in there and get that. But that would have made that would have been a much more boring scene, huh? We wouldn't have got the Gravatas that we got. I get it. I get it. Folks spamming me right now. Why does everybody spam me when I'm doing something? What up, Gray? Thunderbolts will be the same. I agree. I agree 100%. But I was talking about Nick Fury, and Nick Fury is a real good segue into the next topic I want to talk about. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Vision could have went on that mission by himself. They didn't need Captain America, Falcon, or anybody. Vision could have did that mission by himself. But then, what were the Avengers formed for? Or the Avengers in the MCU also formed to face the threats that no one hero can withstand? Or are they just like, we're a group when we need to be a group? Because Vision could have went to Lagos and handled that all by himself. Would have been no need for nobody. Would have nothing got blown up. But then, there you go. But like I was saying about Nick Fury, we hear a lot of talk nowadays about, and when I say blackface, I mean blackface in terms of swapping a white role out for a black person, making them a black person. Okay. We see a lot of that going on nowadays. We see a lot of that going. I'm salty about it too, D. Diesel. We see a lot of that going on nowadays. But back in the late 90s, when the Ultimates came out, yep, Y'all know where I'm going with it. Talk to me quick. When the Ultimates came out, I hear a lot of us have a problem with Nick Fury being black. Talk to me. Talk to me. Because I know some of us in here be like, I don't like it. I had to check myself yesterday. I sat down and I thought about it. And I'm like, ain't nobody said a damn thing about Nick Fury becoming black. They with it. They love it, and they're down like 4 flats. So much so that it's like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's change him in the comics too. But let's do it with respect. Fact remains, it still got done. Nobody had a problem with that blackface. Nobody had a problem with that blackface. You got, oh, it's not blackface. That's an entirely different character. It's his son. You see what I'm getting at here? You don't see it yet? He's Samuel L. Jackson, Byron. I get that, but oh, let's go Robert Downey Jr. then in Tropic Thunder. No, I ain't gonna use that one. I ain't gonna go there with that. Oh, he was talking about. I get what he was talking about, but it ain't his words that concern me. And a lot of people was with it. They was cool with it. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people was cool with it. But we ain't now. It's not chic anymore. It's an insult because we've gotten on this diversity train and said, we want more black this. We want more black that. We want black, blackity, black. Okay. But doesn't it sound like the parameters within which we're asking it for are weird? Talk to me, y'all. What are we talking about here when we're talking about swapping roles? I'm using the term blackface, but I know that's inaccurate. But what I'm talking about, basically, I couldn't put all of that into a title because you would have been like, "Damn, that's long." Giving white roles to black actors or taking a white character and turning them black. Either or. That's what I'm talking about. See what the chat's saying. How did I feel about Aldous Hodges as Hawkman? Like Aldous Hodges Hawkman. I was wondering why Nick Fury wasn't light skinned. Nick Jr. wasn't light skinned. Nick Jr. I had no problem with it. I did hate Marcus replacing 616 Nick. Ew. I feel like not much was said because he was a bigger name character for common moviegoers. I'm not talking about Byron. I'm not talking about Nick Fury in cinematically. Back when the comic book The Ultimates came out in the late 90s, Nick Fury bore the resemblance of Samuel L. Jackson back then. Samuel L. Jackson saw it, and that's the primary reason why Samuel L. Jackson is the cinematic Nick Fury. Nobody said, well, I know it was a few of these folks had something to say. Collectively, on our end, said, I want white Nick Fury back. I didn't hear none of that. There was no petition, bring back white Nick Fury. There was none of that. Why are we making Nick Fury black? We know for years and years and years he fought in World War II and he fought beside a black man. And why are we making him black? Now, understand, this ain't how I feel. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because it amuses me to look at it, at the dichotomy of it, and it's just like we flipped. We don't see that no more. In fact, we get furious when we do see it. So, help me understand. RDJ did Blackface. I ain't with it. Do you think it's just an internet thing? I think, Byron, that it is the strong and powerful influence of media. Yes, I really do. Because, I mean, and just look at the way we get stories on the internet. It ain't. It was a different, brand new universe, so I was cool with it. It wasn't a Marcus replacing 616 Nick situation. I didn't care about Black Nick in comics because I had retired from collecting by then. But you are aware. Why? Stop raising the bar. Y'all know what I'm asking. And whether you was collecting comic books, whether you wasn't or not, or whatever, we talking about how you felt about it. So if you didn't feel nothing, then okay, moving on. Just like Mario Kid said, he did Blackface. I ain't with it. There. Wasn't on the fence. Wasn't no sideline kind of response. He just straight up said it. That's how I feel about that issue. Gray says, C. Thomas Howland, Soul Man is forever cringe. But how is Nick Fury when he debuted in Ultimates with Samuel L. Jackson's visage? How did that make you feel? Did you go, woo? Or did you go, what? Or was you just like, and kept reading it? Byron, okay. With Tropic Thunder, it was made apparent about him being Blackface. He wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Okay. Then he shouldn't have did it. Did he think there was not going to be no backlash at all? And I'm not saying if I'm mad or not mad or agree or disagree one way or the other. Again, devil's advocate. Same as white chicks. Who was complaining about it? That's my point. Who was complaining about it? Same with Nick Fury. Who was complaining about it? Who? I don't remember hearing nobody complaining about white chicks. And if it was, but we look back at it now and go, oh, that's the same thing. You're right. It sure is. It's the same thing, Byron. It's the same thing as when a black man goes out into the community and pow, shoots another black man. All over the news. Everybody talking about it. Mama, daddy, uncle, cousin, brother, sister, president, vice president. Everybody talking about it. White man goes into the community, pow, shoots another white man. And I ain't talking about the man shooting kind. I'm just talking about having a disagreement and pop, I popped you. Crickets. You don't hear about it. Furthermore, when this black man shoots this black man, you call it black on black crime. When this white man shoots this white man, a man was killed. That's what I'm talking about. If you do not respond equally to both murders, and I'm not saying it's wrong to have a bias. I'm just saying it exists. And depending on what the media says, your opinion about it will flip, depending on who you are and what you believe. because we wasn't saying nothing about nobody's blackface. We wasn't even relating or having that kind of thought process to go, did we just cancel white Nick Fury? What they say on Phantom Menace, and Nick Fury died to thunderous applause. Samuel L. Jackson had a case. Okay, present it. And welcome, Chill. Keita, nobody was checking for Nick Fury. Exactly. But if at the risk of sounding corny as hell, Keita, if a tree falls in the forest, just because you wasn't checking for it does not mean it didn't happen. Okay. And that's why we backtracking and going back to 99, 98, or whatever it was when we first saw Ultimate Nick Fury. Because the dynamic exists and we don't feel the same way about it, is what I'm getting at. We don't feel the same way about it. And that's okay if you went, okay, I like blackface then, but I don't like it here. Okay, Chillmonger, you are the Star Wars master. You're the Jedi in this situation. Okay, I stand corrected. Manufactured outrage. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I'm bringing unpopular opinion for a reason. Because we all in here and this is a forum, at least I would like to think this is a forum where we can all talk to each other and not BS each other. Does that make sense? Because I look a lot of times on all of these different, like Twitter and Instagram, all these places, people kind of form little communities, little internet communities. We're a little community. And by and large, we are a community that oftentimes are in agreement about a lot of the things that we see and hear about and have these kind of feelings about them. We are always in agreement. So when there's conversationally a snake in the Garden of Eden, how are we supposed to respond to it? Or how should we respond to it in the case of things like acceptance? Should we ultimately just accept everything because we think it's going to be all for the good, or it's entertaining, or we like it, or we are of the opinion that it's not a bad thing? Okay. Nobody tripped about Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin either. Ooh, good one, Gray. Really, really good one. So if I'm not mistaken, is the thought process that in Hollywood in general, most, if not the majority of all roles are made for white males? And so a black male getting a white role, or a role that's classically white, but it isn't even a black person getting a white role. It's them making a white role black so a black actor can work. So from that aspect of it is a good thing, and that's the only aspect of it. that it's a good thing from, that it's given a black actor work. Other than that, and in all the other ways that it should count, it doesn't. Okay. When I saw Ultimate Nick Fury, I was like, cool, and kept reading. You know what, Gray? So was I. These days will say technically Nick Fury is just a code name, and the white version of Nick did exist in the 1610 universe alongside Sam's version. Okay, got it. These days will say I dig both versions. Grand Madam Terrell. On Nick Fury, sorry, I can't remember who was complaining. There was a bit of backlash I heard about on the radio on white chicks from the black folks. A bit of backlash. As you said, Grand Madam. A bit. I didn't say there wasn't none, but I just didn't remember. Okay. But it wasn't outrage. Okay, outrage is just, it's all over the place. Everybody's screaming, "Oh, this is an outrage!" Yeah, white women with haircuts that just go to the side like that are asking to see managers. It's that kind of outrage. David Hasselhoff was Nick Fury in the late 90s. Yes, he was, and that's why he was only Nick Fury in the 90s one time. I mean, he kind of captured the essence of the character, but everything else was terrible. Michael Knight, Nick Fury, I missed that. Grand Madam, you ain't missed nothing. You ain't missed nothing. Trash. David Hasselhoff is the best iteration of Nick Fury, but I ain't tripping. David Hasselhoff. Yeah, okay. David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury wasn't strong enough, I guess. The people who wrote it, you know what I mean? Because it had the potential to be something, but again, I don't know. Maybe we wasn't ready for Nick Fury back then. I don't know. Before Blade, Marvel was on that struggle bus on the film side. True facts. Kamoyo Kid said, I did. I was like, WTF, the crime boss is black. I don't need it. See, but the majority of folks, Kamoyo Kid, took that same kind of attitude that they take towards Empire, Snowfall, Power, BMF, all them type shows. It don't, ooh, look at him. Ooh, he's shooting people. Ooh, he's killing people. Ooh, he's creating that image that certain folks want to see us look like. Paul Martin said, I read that in the Shaft novel. Ernest Tiedemann wrote him as a white dude. Well, what color is Elmore Leonard? Grandma Terrell said, I think it's more than giving a black actor work. I think it's the actor that can blow an audience away in the role. Okay. Denzel just did Macbeth. He owned it. Okay. Okay. Some roles swapped like Hawkman are race corrections. Generic white man is a tired comics trope. And Aldous Hodge as Hawkman was not terrible. And I feel like a lot of people, you know, it's like, oh, well, Khufu was an Egyptian king, and we all know. the original people of Kemet. And Christopher Bates, Shakespeare characters have universality to them. And to be honest, anything Shakespeare, I feel like, is either to teach and or showcase acting. It's been around so long that it's just like, but it's just, I don't know, at the same time, if you ain't got no, because for me in school, when we were doing acting and things like that, I went to a predominantly black school in high school, so wasn't nobody white to play Macbeth. Wasn't nobody white to play Romeo and Juliet. Othello was kicking it with a bunch of black people. You know? So that's when the acting part comes into play. Samuel made Nick Fury his own. Yep. But wasn't nobody checking for it when it was a comic book character that looked like Samuel L. Jackson. Isn't that ironic? I thought Jennifer Garner as Elektra wasn't good. Yeah, you don't take a Northern European woman and try to make her look Mediterranean. It's a difference. It's a difference. Hasselhoff's Fury was bad. Maybe an in-shape Eastwood or Chuck Norris. You know, when I don't know if anybody remembers the movie Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood and Mario Van Peebles. That character, Gunny Highway, is how I kind of envisioned Nick Fury to be. Like that, just tough as nails, gravelly war veteran. He don't really give a damn about what nobody think is my way or the highway. No pun intended. But this a lot of y'all here. Fury, hey, grandmadam, hi, hey, hello, how you doing? Come on, your kid. Even if the swap is more correct, it comes at the expense of a white character. Hey, Keita, Shakespeare's works, blah, 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 still relevant today. Yeah, my daughter just did some a couple weeks ago. I know. Gray, I think it's the fact that we have black characters that can be on screen and Hollywood isn't using their actors to bring them to life. They put them in white roles to make them popular. Let me see if I'm reading that right. I think it's the fact that we have black characters that can be on screen and Hollywood isn't using their characters, isn't using their actors to bring them to life. White actors or black actors to bring black characters to the screen. They put them in white roles to make them popular. Black people in white roles or white people in black roles? Black actors. Okay. All right. Now it makes sense to me. Okay. Yeah, that is part of the problem, but I'm talking about the dynamic of that, Gray. Why is what you said, is that the crux of the problem? Is that what it is? We want, and I kind of alluded to it, is that we want more black roles for black actors. But we don't want a white character sacrificed in the name of gaslit diversity. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. At Chillmonger, if that white character is cringe to begin with, studios will replace him. Michael Rooker, aka Yondu, should have been white Nick Fury. He could have been. He could have played it. Or Andy Serkis before they made him Claw, because Andy Serkis can play any character. Anthony Hopkins played a black man in Hearts of Atlantis. Never seen it. Never seen it ever. And speaking of acceptance, how accepting are we of interracial couples? Because the reason I ask is because a lot of times, and I think my answer will probably be the same as with acceptance of black characters and not wanting them to take white roles in the name of fake diversity. I feel like a lot of times we use an interracial couple as an epithet. You know what I mean? I hear that a lot. Oh, well, they could have put a black couple in that commercial, but they put in that commercial instead. Is it the same dynamic of we need more black actors in commercials? Or is it we don't like seeing interracial couples? Because I've heard people on social media talk about interracial couples with rancor, with disdain in their voices. And these are people that done interacted with me and talked to me. And I'm like, okay, so you don't know everything there is to know. Is how I look at that, because you getting along with me just fine. We kicking it. We hanging. We talking. We sharing the holiest of holies, the deepest of deepests. And I'm a person in an interracial relationship. Could it be that a lot of people are speaking out of anger? And maybe, just maybe, and I'm guilty too, we shouldn't make sweeping generalizations. We shouldn't make sweeping generalizations. All people are this. All people are that. Or this is how this is because of this. Or this is how this is because of that. Period. Not that particular situations, but all situations that involve that are that way. All situations that involve interracial couples are the same. So if me and my Cherokee, Indian, Filipino, Egyptian, Caucasian wife decide we want to be in a commercial, are we taking roles from black people? Or is she taking a role from a black person? And you did hear me say she had Egyptian in her, right? It's mighty quiet in this Presbyterian church. I don't hear nothing from nobody. Okay, maybe I should hear something from somebody. Tired of seeing drug dealer strippers, relationship drama all over TV screen for black representation. Me too. These things say I don't care. Plus, it's none of my business whom random strangers are attracted to. Okay. Diabolical said, I don't mind interracial couples. You love who you love. The most important thing is happiness. Stevie Wonder has a song called Overjoyed. I played it at my wedding because I was, and I still am. Okay. I guess we're done with that one. Okay. Let's move to oh my goodness. Radio silent. Okay. Let's move on to some more interesting fare. since I'm talking about relationships and couples, this is a nice segue. If every commercial or show is an interracial couple with a white partner, only you do have to give it a side eye. I could look at it two ways. Come on, y'all. I could look at it. There is clearly a pattern that we are seeing, again, that lends itself to that media, whatever they talking about. Oh, I got to be with that. Oh, I got to be with that is because that's what's happening right now. Okay. That's being done to satisfy that. Or I simply refuse to give black actors work. If I'm going to give a black actor work, I'm giving a white actor work too. So there. Possibly. I mean, there is an infinite number of reasons why we can assume we're seeing too much of that on TV or in a commercial or on social media. Which one is the correct one? I guess that just depends on what you prescribe to and what you believe. Interracial couples on TV are definite characters that are needed to be played by two racially different characters. Oh, you're adding more. Nowadays, the dominant couple is interracial in the TV and movie media. Message: interracial loving is now acceptable and has been since 1967. I think was the landmark Supreme Court case, state of Virginia versus Loving. So, yeah, 55 years at least. 55. I want to see a black couple on commercials too. It looks as if the only way for a black man or woman to be happy, it's in an interracial relationship. Not true, Keita. Not true at all. A lot of times people think because they can't meet somebody that demographic doesn't like them or doesn't care for them. Nah, that's not it at all. Maybe, just maybe, it might be people's choices. What you choose to do, what you choose to say, how you choose to behave, what you are willing to do, what you're not willing to do. Okay. And I'm saying that's a man-woman thing. So I mean, I got all of my friends that are married have been married at least 20 years. And seven of those 8 couples are black couples. So I can only speak for my sphere of influence. I cannot speak for the world entire. I guess because I deal, interact, talk, and kick it with level-headed, logical thinking human beings. I don't hear that kind of stuff. I don't hear that kind of stuff. So yeah. Seems like more fans hated on Ghost and Angie on Power than on Olivia and her man on Scandal. You about to blow your lid. I have never, ever, ever, ever watched a single episode of Scandal in my life. I've heard about the dynamic. I've heard about it, but never watched it. So, yeah. And I feel like, Olivia Pope, ain't that her name? And the fella she was with, that was more of a, I don't know, it sounded like like the dynamic of it. you know, and she seemed to apparently have carried herself in a very untraditional way. 1964, Loving versus Loving. Okay, yeah. Oh, well, I knew it was in the 60s. I know it's been some 50-something odd years. Thank you. Again, I stand corrected. That's why I rock with y'all. Y'all are Johnny on the spot with facts. I'll never look stupid very long, thanks to y'all. But I will look stupid. Anyway, it's being marketed as such. I think that's what Keita is trying to say, that it's all about the messaging. I didn't watch it either. I've never. Hey, thank you, Christopher Bates, Gray, Paul Martin, all of y'all. I feel much less out of the loop now, knowing that it's Muggs who never watched Scandal either. Man, phew, that's a load off my mind. Yeah, never ever watched it. Never even deemed to watch it. To being honest, it just never caught my eye like that. Or Power. I didn't stay in Power very long. I never got out of the first season of Power. That tell you how deep I was into Power. Season 1, done. I've seen this show. What are they gonna do different that ain't different than all them other shows? Oh, 50 Cent producing it. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So I went on a whole unnecessary diatribe, Keita. I'm sorry. Wasn't even necessary. Never mind. Remember on Saturday Night Live and that little, never mind. That's way, that's Saturday Night Live. What was her name? Little woman Gilda Radner played Emily Latella. Who remembers Emily Latella, played by Gilda Radner on Saturday Night Live, and Rosanna Dana. Okay. Anyway, funny how different forms of media do it. Superhero comics usually have black men, white women. Soap operas, the opposite. Couldn't get into Scandal, but I know what it's all about. See? Okay, now I'm feeling like I'm in the normal. I'm in the regular demographic. Everybody like scandal. Okay. I didn't get out of the pilot episode of Power. I watched moments, but that's about it. And I'll be honest with you, Greg. Shows like that don't draw me in. I mean, the only reason I watched as much of BMF as I did, because it was based on a true story. It's based on a real cat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to see, okay, what was going on? What was the dynamic? And you actually got more than what you normally get, but it's what you normally get. So never mind. Not ready for prime time players. Christopher Bates, you old as me, if not older. You that I bet you can name them all off too, can't you? Well, nowadays, everybody who was a primetime player is either iconic or deceased. So yeah, got it. They filmed BMF in my town. They filmed BMF in your town, Diabolical? I didn't. Why did my voice go up? My voice always does that. I don't know what that. I mean, I do that. I do that a lot. Anyway, I don't watch black stereotype shows. Hard pass. Watching my upbringing. I get that. And how many different ways can you deviate on that theme? And if we show ourselves that way on television, we ain't got no right to get mad when Muggs assume that's what we are, because that's all we trying to create. And we, you know what I'm saying? Where's more shows that, where's that Afrofuturism? You know what I'm saying? Where are those shows? I don't like sci-fi. Well, I do. Give me some. And put a bunch of black people in it. It's just like Richard Pryor said on one of his albums. They act like they don't want us around in the future because they sure don't be making no movies with us in it about the future. You know what I mean? That type thing. Old SNL was funny. The new stuff sucks. I agree. I was watching Snowfall, but I stopped. I just got tired of it. Yes, yes, and yes. These Diesel say I'm not interested in any of that stuff. Like D-Real said, I've seen those types of shows before since I was a kid. Bruh, give me something. What's the twist on it? You know what I'm saying? I watch American Gangster. That's based on a true story. I watch Godfather of Harlem. It's loosely based on actual events. I even watch Gangs of London. You know why? Because it's European people doing the stuff that you see on Power and BMF. So yeah, there you go. Let's watch them. Let's watch them do that. You know what I'm saying? So where's the next Deep Space Nine? Give me black folks in space or fighting dragons. Roger Jean Page in Dungeons and Dragons. Whoo! Zinc Xander. Yeah, I'm finna get my zinc. That don't sound right. I'm finna get my zinc. Oh, that's nasty. Anyway, it's extra insulting when folks come over here shucking and jiving with the stereotypes and getting on because of it. Are you talking about Damson Idris and Idris Elba? Because them the two I think that immediately come to my mind. We didn't know Stringer was British. Stringer Bell is from Mario, Chip Chip, Perio, Tyrio, teetotalers, and all that wrong. Anyway, that was a terrible English accent. I'm sorry, English people, if y'all watching this. At Kamoyo Kid, if you think about it, both shows were funny, but Seinfeld had more reprehensible characters than Martin. Hashtag black folks in space. I'm with that. Grand Madam, we can stream from our own channels today. We just need the content. The opportunity is there. Hold my beer, Grand Madam, working on it. Paul Martinek. Okay, you already said. Diabolical said, yup, the studios were all MCU, Black Adam, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Suicide Squad is less than 30 minutes from me. My area, major filming area. Stranger Things, Lovecraft Country, Walking Dead, filmed here. Okay. Long as no one doesn't bring back Homeboys in Outer Space. I remember that show. Yeah, don't bring that back. But if you do bring it back, I think it could be successful if it gets the Buffy treatment. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series. That's how much head and shoulders the TV series was over the campy ass movie. So, what happened to Lovecraft Country anyway? It didn't get renewed for a second season. The writer, the young lady who wrote Lovecraft Country, already had a second season written out. Yeah, what Gray said. HBO happened. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked to get another season of Watchmen too, but hey, HBO happened. Grand Madam say you got to find Homeboys and watch it tonight. Try Tubi or Pluto. Might be on one of those. Or Peacock. I don't think it's on Peacock. Yeah, they rock with those kind of shows. And since we talk about campy shows, corny shows, How do you prefer your comic book based movies? Do you prefer a campy comic book movie, or would you prefer, straight lace, no chase? Give it to me like they give it to me in the comics. And what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of campy versus playing it straight? Just straight comic canon by the book. We ain't finna turn this character into a super duper jokester. We ain't finna make this character nothing. We just, or Adam West Batman. You hear people talk about it all the time. They say it's good. They say it's bad. They say it's this. They say it's that. But Adam West Batman, that's the campiest camp stuff there is. Meteor Man, Blank Man, Campy. Found it on YouTube. Good for you, Grand Madam. Way to crack it open. Make that happen. CW, UPN had good and not so good black shows. True. Everybody don't be mad at me, but I used to watch Girlfriends. But I ain't finna get in trouble. So let's move on. Campy for Deadpool and Plastic Man. Straight for serious heroes. That makes sense, kid. That makes sense to me. Paul Martin, jokes when necessary. Even dramas have comedic aspects at times. I get that, but don't turn a whole 2-hour movie into a big ass joke. That doesn't work unless you start it off and say this is supposed to be corny from the rip. Don't trip. Yes, Paul, what you said, Paul, that Living Single for me, I watched that too. I like that. LL Cool J's In the House. Just watched that recently. That girl, oh my goodness. Oh, I feel so bad for her. Camp works because it's unapologetic and everyone is in on the joke. You can leave logic at the door. I agree with that, Chris. For me, it depends on my mood. If I'm in a depressive space, I watch campy, goofy stuff. I can dig that too. Marvel is dumb frat boy humor in the MCU. Me too at Be Real D. Keita, you talking about Girlfriends? Yes, Gray. Maya Campbell. Yeah, you took it off. You respelling it so you can spell it correctly. Gotcha. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, she was. Goodness, I seen a video of her. She was looking rough, and then I read an article about him. Like, oh my goodness, she's going through it. Oh my goodness. Richard Belzer as Detective Munch on Homicide. New York Undercover. Interracial buddy cop drama. Shh. Anyway, unfunny toilet humor. Yeah. Half and half. Yeah. That was cool. Okay. So you prefer campy when you prefer it, and you prefer straight lace, canon. So in terms of superhero based movies, some people said, it depends on the character. A straight Deadpool movie probably wouldn't work because the humor, the camp, is what Deadpool's known for. I would like to think probably the same thing if you made, I don't know, a Squirrel Girl movie. I would think that would have to be somewhat campy. So camp has its place. And it's good when you're depressed. It's also pretty good when you're in the mood for it. I ain't gonna BS. I'm gonna just get on to this next topic. And next topic is about a comic. And it's a comic I won't share. It's a comic I won't tell y'all about. I think I told y'all about it before, but I didn't go into a lot of detail. Is this comic right here? I'll probably take it out there. Can you see that? It's called Flawed. Okay. Image Comics. It came out, I want to say like in the summer of last year, I want to say, or like early fall. But anyway, Flawed, near as I can tell, and if y'all like it, y'all can go pick it up. But Flawed tells the story of one psychiatrist by the name of Gemma Ez. And they just call her Jim Ez for short. But basically, Jim is a psychiatrist by day and a vigilante by night. But she's not just any ordinary vigilante. She is part of a special sect of very long-lived, I guess the best thing you could call them is scarab killers. And why are they called scarab killers? Because there are these bugs. And these bugs grow to enormous size, or at least back in the day they did. They grew to enormous size and they would attack people and kill them. And when the people loked up and tried to kill these scarabs, they found that these scarabs were unkillable. So the solution to dealing with these scarabs was to eat them. Yeah. And they found out eating these scarabs made them immortal, long as they continued to get an infusion of these characters, of these beetles, excuse me. And very long lived. And if you get too much, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this and let y'all, well, you know what? There's a better picture of it in this book. But the artwork is by Prenzy, and the story is written by, you see that Brown, right? Chuck Brown, who does, among other things, excuse me, they didn't have it in here. Anyway, Bitterroot. Chuck Brown does Bitterroot. But anyway, I don't know if y'all can see that, but that used to be a man. But that's what he turns into from having ingested so much of the scarab. But what ends up happening is other people who have ingested the scarab and are very long-lived become like his food. And, kind of eat on them and, try to chew on them, devour them. And that, keeps him young and vital. So almost kind of a vampiric sort of thing going on. And just so you know, if you can see by those pictures, because it's Image Comics, they ain't holding back. You know what I'm saying? It's not for the faint of heart. In the very first issue, she's going ham on people. Matter of fact, let me show you in issue 1. D, the artwork is by Prenzy. I like Prenzy's artwork. Get that city. That is a beautiful illustration of a city. Yes, Keita, Black Girl Magic in a major way. And it's awesome. Now, here, check out her little room. She got a little room like Frank Castle. I got guns, all type of stuff. I'm giving, what's she saying in there? I'm going to make an example of this effer. She's a whole beast, man. Check her out. Walks in. That's what she doing. That's how she get down. Oh my goodness. She is not playing, y'all. She is not playing. She is coming in there. She is coming in there and she's kicking Mucho behind. Point blank range. Ain't nothing strange. Bruh. Jimma is no joke. But it's a good run. It's a little 6-issue series. If you can go by your LCS and pick it up, I mean, you can't miss. It's Chuck Brown. Chuck, I have not read a crappy Chuck Brown story yet. He did that last year. He also did a Black Manta, that 6-issue series of Black Manta. He was busy, wasn't he? He got busy. Well, that was 2021, I think it was. But yeah, Chuck Brown makes very, very, very cool comics. So if you ain't doing nothing and you're bored, I highly recommend Flawed. I highly recommend Flawed. I highly recommend Flawed. And the way Jimma kicks butts, the way she kick butts is realistic. You know what I'm saying? She's got body armor. She's got like extra little thing, like her little outfit here. The feathers on that cape, she can take off and throw them like knives. And like I said, the whole get up is body armor. You know what I'm saying? So it could take, a couple of, gunshots, that sort of a thing. She's basically, I ain't gonna say bad girl. I'm not gonna say bad girl. If I had to compare her to somebody in comics, I'd say she's more like a kind of a cross between Elektra and Misty Knight. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, man, please pick up Flawed. Flawed is good. It's Image, but it's Chuck Brown, and it's us, and there's a lot of black characters in it. I mean, not like character, but like her, the main protagonist, some of her supporting cast. She's got an auntie in there, and her auntie's like an ex-hunter too, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. You need to pick it up. And if you're tired of, like fooling around with the big two, the not so big one that celebrated its 30-year anniversary last year, that's Image Comics, by the way. They got some things going on over there. I ain't trying to tell nobody who's a stan to stop reading or stop dealing with, because I still kind of enjoy some Marvel titles, but overall they ain't been as impressive as they should be, and DC is even less so. So Philadelphia, Flawed, I'm rocking with stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to get off into and pick up. Cause somebody turned me on to Philadelphia, and I'm like, bruh, y'all wrong for not letting me know about this book sooner. It's again, I can't toot the independent horn enough. I cannot speak higher, and my man Greg Burnham done came back to DC. He's doing a milestone with DC Comics, man. So shouts out to my man Greg Burnham and Marcus Williams for being on that milestone project, man. Brothers, I'm just proud to know y'all, and I can say, oh, I know some cats that's doing major comics. Inside I'm screaming. I would scream now, but I'm cool. I'm not gonna scream. Adding it to the list: Exile, Flawed, Philadelphia, and Bitterroot. Yes, sir. Y'all make sure y'all read that Bitterroot, man. Sanford and Brown, they did their thing on Bitterroot, man. Please pick up Bitterroot. My man Theo B, I don't know if he's still on here. Theo B did him and Marcus over at Back of the Bus. They did a little series on Bitterroot where they, read the comic and gave, their feedback on it. Bitterroot's a good book. I recommend y'all go to either one of their pages, check those videos out. I myself have done a video on Bitterroot. I will probably be doing some re-edutainment on it because I feel like it's needed. And I know Regina King had announced a live action Bitterroot movie project, and she said she was gonna get Ryan Coogler potentially to direct. Fortunately for Ryan Coogler, people already die in Bitterroot, so he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to do anything extra to mess that up. But I'm with you, Paul Martin. Let's just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just let's pray on it. Let's touch hands and agree. And that it will not it will not happen that way. Yeah, but I mean, for me, Diesel, there is no other version of Bitterroot but the comic. So it's not like you got no TV show to draw from. It's not like you got no action figure line to draw from. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? They only got one source to draw from. You can't make shit up. I mean, you can, but everybody would know it, or would they? Like I said, y'all, let's just hope. Let's just hope and pray, yeah? Yeah. Vassell by Enrique Carrion and John Upchurch. What you want me to know, Christopher Bates? Just say it, man. Just say it. We will not have it. No. I hope not. I hope not, Gray. I hope not, man. No more Coogler, please. But I'm down with Regina. I'm down with Regina. I mean that like professionally. I like projects that she's involved with. She does tight, efficient work. Anyway, maybe she could get the Hughes brothers to direct it. Antoine Fuqua. Y'all, y'all need to Regina King's on Twitter. Regina King's on Twitter. If y'all I am just the bringer of the message. What you do with that message moving forward is up to you. Paris Bark. Oh. You the man right there. Yeah. Got it. Now I'm tracking. Look here, y'all. I'm tapped out on topics. Now this is the time that you can throw your Q&A at me. Go for it. Whatever you want to ask me. If I know it, I'll answer it. If I don't, I can't. So, without further ado, do what you do. This is the Across the Spiderverse edition, y'all. Be real with D-Real. And the sooner we get done, the sooner I get done. And then I can get done. Afrofuturism, mysticism, and espionage, all in one book. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, you had to make that. I was not making it. Yes, I love Afrofuturism. I got a shit ton of it. Okay. How old is that, Christopher? How old is that? I've not heard of that. Yeah. Has anyone read the Silver Surfer Ghostlight Mini with the new Cosmic Black Hero? I haven't read it. Paul, I have not either. But if it's a Cosmic Black Hero, you know what? We need a Star Panther comic. How you gonna introduce a character like that in Avengers Forever and not give us more of it? One time. You know what I'm saying? Because Star Panther looked like he might be Blue Marvel level or close to it. So to have two, ooh, I would call that progress. They could be like Goku and Vegeta. Came out 2011. Okay. I dislike Dan Slott's Silver Surfer. I did not read it because after one issue, seeing what he had done to the Silver Surfer, well, my man said we would not have it. I was not with it. I wasn't with it. And Dan Slott is like mostly, in my opinion, but that's just me. So his Spider-Man is his raspberry. That's how I feel. You don't like Dan Slott? No, I don't like Dan Slott. I picked up like an issue or two of it when when they had Monica Rambeau in a couple issues, but after that, later for that guy. I'm finished with my copy, and his Fantastic Four was disappointing. Like I said, forget that guy, man. Well, if y'all ain't got no questions for me, or anything else y'all want to discuss, I am going to dismiss myself. But before I do, I want to thank everybody in the chat, everybody that posed the question, everybody that didn't pose a question. I appreciate y'all coming out. Y'all keep rocking with folks like my man Theo B. Y'all keep rocking with folks like my man Chillmonger. Y'all keep rocking with Back of the Bus, Kaiser Ghost Slevin, Black Comic Lords, man. It's a whole plethora of us out here rocking with what we rock with, doing what we do. Oh, Gray has a question. Who would you get to direct Black Panther 3? With a returning pissed off T'Challa trying to get back at Namor and reuniting with his family. Revenge. The people that do John Wick. Right away. Yeah, because that's what I want to see. I want to see T'Challa going John Wick on whoever is in front of him on the way to Namor. You sent questions. I see Malcolm and Eddie. I see Straight Comic. Oh, yep. The studios were all no, not in here. Oh, Gareth Evans. Oh, good one, Chris. Yeah. Yes. That works. Yeah, Gareth Evans. That's who I want to direct the third Black Panther with a pissed off T'Challa coming to get Namor. Yeah. Doesn't that sound better than an Emmer effing generational trauma drama starring TJ? Yes. Yes, it does, Gray. Anyone who actually knows what they're doing. How would these things say? Anyone who knows what they're doing. Paul Martin said he don't need to see BP3. What else y'all got? Because I think that pretty much speaks for itself. Marvel Studios will probably pick Lee Daniels. God. Or Tyler Perry. Medea destroys the MCU. Oh, that would be awesome. Hit them all with radioactive grit balls. Hello. What are your thoughts on this being the 30th anniversary of DS9? Long as Ben Cisco get the shine, I don't care. Long as they got the spotlight firmly on Benjamin Cisco. My thoughts are he was ahead of his time. That's my thoughts. Kevin Graveau, I'd watch a Black Panther movie directed by him. Say Medea should have been on the Illuminati. Peace be still. Peace be still. Peace, peace. Ryan Coogler's I Can Do Wakanda All By Myself didn't work. Yeah. They would have been British. What are we going to do about Eric Killmonger? He's killing everyone and putting strange scars all over his body. Avery Brooks was my John Stewart back in the day. Avery Brooks was my Captain Picard, Kirk, and Janeway back in the day. Graveau directs with a script by Christopher Priest, Theo B., and you. That'd be a kick-ass movie. That'd be a super duper kick-ass movie, no doubt in my mind. Come on, yo, kid. Greg Madam, I love the Cisco too. I love the Cisco too. I'm you know what? That is what, yeah. We're gonna rock some Deep Space Nine tonight. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Look here, y'all. I'm getting ready to eat and go watch me some Deep Space Nine. Like I was saying before, folks started asking questions. I remember the DS9 pilot. I thought you said plot. I'm trying to get out of here. Y'all I'm trying to get out of here. I say this name of chap's a bit of a bother. Hey, Governor, you got it right, bruv. They've been celebrating Captain Cisco last couple of weeks, and there's a new Captain Cisco book coming out this fall. Cool. I'm going to get up on that note. I will see y'all when I be seeing y'all. Until then, y'all be good. Be good to each other. Love y'all. Keep rocking with me. I bring y'all quality material until I can't bring you quality material no more. And ain't going to be for a while.